Greetings, greetings, greetings. This is Alex Will 64 coming through with the Occult Microbiology 101. And I hope you like the, the little glyph I got up there. That's Alzalius. We'll get to that, get to that in a minute. But how you doing, yo? How are things during this COVID-y situation that, the globe is in? You know what I'm saying? How your mom and them doing? How your dad and them? They good? Tell them I said what's up, yo. Even if they in this world or the next one. So Occult Microbiology 101, a timeline of spirogenetic posts here. So what I'm going to be doing in this video and subsequent videos is I'm not going to sit here and just read through this whole this whole thing. I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to skim through parts because, again, in the description section of this video and subsequent videos, you'll be able to download this document, Occult Microbiology 101, and read it for yourself. Okay? You'll be able to go through it and, get all the nuances and the subtleties. You know what I'm saying? The gems and jewels that's hidden underneath the subtext and, get the jewels of the context and all that, all that jive. You know what I'm saying? So this is basically a compilation of posts from, my Instagram page, AlexWill64, and also Ether Realist. And this is me putting it all together, bringing it all together for a singularity, if you will. And the cover image here is Alzalius, my new constellation in zodiac sign. As far as people that are talking about, left-hand paths and going, not even going against the grain, but taking the grain where it has never been, making the glass out of the grain type of thing. You know what I'm saying? So think about that. I don't know if you're into astrology or anything to even know what I'm actually talking about here, but read on, get your studies up and your knowledge up. You'll be able to figure things out. So I'm coming on behalf of my Ethereality Institute, LLC business here. So let's get started. And here I have a list of my websites, my Linktree link. You can catch me if you want to, ask me a few questions, you have comments or concerns. You can email me at general@acrasunsum.com. Cashapp, Venmo, Zelle information there in case you want to donate, or like I said, if you're going to purchase any of my services. And here's just a definition I have for ethereality, why I have been using ethereality, over the years or whatever. So, And here's a list of my, books that I've written so far. You know what I'm saying? I'm a self-published author. I have Wrath of the Ashes is my the novel that I've written, almost or more than a decade ago. And then I have my 2 poetry collections. My YouTube channel, you'll subscribe, hit that bell notification so you can get all of it. You know what I'm saying? And this is coming after me releasing my Dream Genome Thesis. So I don't know if you already know about that or not. But again, all this will be the links for the Dream Genome Thesis playlist, and the PDF document will be available in the description section below. And I am planning to do a second edition to the Dream Genome Thesis that I already have out, because there's, like I said, it's a development in progress. So the more information, the more study I'm doing, the more I'll be adding to this thesis. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, this Occult Microbiology, I'd say course or excursion, whatever you want to fucking call it. It's a result of this Dream Genome Thesis, and we'll figure that out in a moment. And what I'm gonna do is this whole thing will be split into several videos. I'm not gonna do the whole document in one video. I'm just gonna cut it up. You know what I'm saying? Chop it up. So then you get to the table of contents. This is really a short book, if you want to call it a book, or scroll, if you want to be a cometa fancy. That's my new word. People is cometa fancy. You just bringing the comedic and fanciness together. Cometa fancy. you know what I'm saying, it's only about 3 chapters long. There's a prologue, an epilogue. Like I said, it's real short. It's just really, like I said, a collection of my posts, you know what I'm saying? And it's dedicated, you know what I'm saying, I dedicate this to my daughter, Ashna, the boss to succeed me. And so this is what starts everything off. This is what starts everything from my dream genome thesis, you know, this Occult Microbiology 101 document, and a lot of the stuff that I've been posting over the years on my Instagram, you know what I'm saying? So these are emails coming from the author Judy K. King, the author of the ISIS Thesis, Road to Orion, which is the fictional book that's based on the ISIS Thesis book, Balls of Fire, A Science of Life and Death, which is my favorite book of all time right now. I haven't read a book before, or, you know what I'm saying, that compares to this book, this Balls of Fire book. And also she has a string of articles and I guess, you know, essays and stuff that deal with this ISIS thesis. So this is going all the way back to you know, 2015, late 2015. Because like I said, when I put out my dream genome thesis videos on my YouTube channel, you know, I've gotten positive reviews, I've gotten criticisms, I've gotten, you know, people just being outright you know, I guess negative, for a lack of a better term. And that's cool because, again, everybody has an opinion. You know what I mean? You can count on one thing. Even if motherfuckers don't have a place to stay, they don't have a car to drive around in, they don't have good relationships with other people, you know what I'm saying? They broke and shit. They don't have a sense of like a high self-esteem. One of the things you can always count on people to have, if they don't have all those things that were aforementioned, is an opinion. You know what I'm saying? Social media has enabled opinions or opinionated people, right? So I just wanted to kind of seal it and give you like the evidence of, like I said, me dealing with this author, Judy K. King, because pretty much you probably clicked on this video because you are now interested in Judy K. King's work in this whole ISIS thesis thing, Balls of Fire, and, you know what I'm saying, trying to, you know what I'm saying, I guess escape this realm, if that's what you're into, to go into the new realm or to become the new species or whatever. So again, back in 2015, I had a correspondence or email correspondence with Judy K. King. You know what I'm saying? And as you can see with these emails, you know what I'm saying, I wasn't even like expecting her to just up and give me or send me these books. You know what I'm saying? She just sent them to me. And you know what I'm saying? It was books that, you know, the book that she gave, that she sent me, that I got for free from her, there was something wrong with the cover or the back cover of the book. You know what I'm saying? I guess when she sent it in to get it published and she got back the blueprint of the cover of the book, it wasn't to her specifications. So I guess she had these extra books laying around that just had, you know, the cover was kind of, you know, not to her specifications, and it runs off the cover, you know, the words and stuff. So she just agreed to say, hey, I have some extra books here that, you know what I'm saying, I'm not going to put out there for real sale because the cover is kind of fucked up. So, you know what I'm saying, I'll send it to you. So I received it, you know what I mean? And like I said, you can also see in these emails here that, you know, we were talking. We had a correspondence. We were having a back and forth. And if you look at the first email here that I took a screenshot of, you can see here all the way back in 2015, I had this dream genome thesis already in effect. You know what I'm saying? So this is 5 years in the making. This isn't something where I just I just pulled it out my anus and just, you know what I'm saying, slapped it on your face or something, you know what I'm saying? Which is pretty nasty anyway, but you know what I mean? So I was already on this idea that, you know what I'm saying, let me just read. Would you agree that dreams, or what humans call dreams, are quasi-quantum state reductions, QSRs, where we get glimpses into what our DNA is doing in the language of images and symbols that we can understand? You know what I'm saying? And then going with the whole cliche or the saying, sleep is the cousin of death. You know what I'm saying? So when I sent this question to her, you know what I mean, she pretty much agreed to the thesis. So again, this is 5 years in the making. I didn't just come out of nowhere with this understanding. It's only till like maybe I'd say like maybe early 2020 when I started to get back into writing my dreams down and recording my dreams is where I picked up this this understanding that I had that dreams are quantum state reduction, and quantum state reduction is basically your consciousness reducing, or if I could use another word, like it's sinking itself into the microscopic level of your being. So you know how you have your consciousness right now, you're sitting here looking at the physical world. Well, with a quantum state reduction is where your consciousness, not your brain, you know what I'm saying, because we're going beyond the brain, it's your consciousness, that electromagnetic field that is your mind. It reduces itself all the way down into the domain of your microscopic cells, or maybe even further. You know what I'm saying? So if that's what's happening, then what you're going to experience is the activities that's going on within your DNA and within the cells of your body. So then I was like, well, what if that's what your dreams are? That would make perfect sense. Like, why wouldn't you? That's what your dreams is. Your dreams are a coded depiction of what's going on within the DNA and the cells of your body. Why wouldn't that be? Because how else would you know about your genetics if it wasn't for, these Caucasians out here that came up with this human genome project and, all these, DNA studies, this ancestry.com. Like, how the fuck would you know? Where, like, you think your body or your organic technology, which is your body, wouldn't have a way for you to see what's going on in your DNA? So I would say that's the dream. That's what you're doing when you're dreaming. You are having dreams that is a coded. Your dream is more like I'd say a graphical user interface. So whenever you're using a computer, you're using a phone or a electronic device that has an LCD display, like how I'm using now, or how you're watching this video on your phone or computer or whatever, right? That's your graphical user interface. So this is what you're using to operate and access and view the digital information within the motherboard or the microchip of the phone, computer, or whatever electronic device you're using, your tablet, iPad, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because, generally people don't know how to read code. Like, do you know how to read Swift code? Do you know how to read JavaScript? You know what I'm saying? Not the average person. Like, do you know how to read Python? Like these different versions of, computer code, like computer programming code? Most likely not. You know what I'm saying? It's only like a small few people that can actually read the code. So because you cannot read the code, you have a graphical user interface, or a GUI, there to access and deal with the coding of your device. So what you're looking at is actually a graphical user interface. You know what I'm saying? That's what you're looking at. So in the dream state, you can make that analogy. What you're dreaming about is what you're seeing in your dreams. Everything that happens, everybody that's present in the dream, the setting of the dream, anything going down in your dream. That's a organic, natural, graphical user interface of what's happening within the genes or the DNA and the intercellular activity in your cells. So she basically agreed to that by saying it is very possible that dreams are quasi or something like, quantum state reductions. You know what I'm saying? So when you get when the author sits here and agrees with you on that, I mean, that's something, that's when you're taking her work and you're bringing it into a new plateau. Like, you're taking it forward. You're bringing it forward. So that's, this is where this whole dream genome thesis originates. Again, it's not something that just came up this year or overnight. You know what I mean? Now, there is a, how can I say this? a wave of information or a rumor or whatever you want to call it, that people are saying that Judy K. King did not write these books. Like, she didn't write the ISIS Thesis, and she didn't write Balls of Fire or any of these articles that, you know, that she done published in all these different scientific journals. Now, what I'm going to say to that is, I'm not going to sit here and totally disagree with that statement. You know what I'm saying? I'm not here to agree or disagree with that, because the focus, you know what I'm saying, would have to be just the work. Now, who wrote it? I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to have a debate with you on who wrote it. You know what I'm saying? Because if she is just the face of this information, and there's a group of writers that are writing this, and she's just the face of it, then okay, let it be that. All I know is she was in possession of this work, and I had a correspondence with her. She seemed to understand the work a little bit, or at least enough to, have this correspondence with me with the questions that I was asking her. You know what I'm saying? And she sent me the books for free. So again, if there is a group of people that's, that really wrote these books, I'm not in agree. I mean, I'm not going to agree or disagree with. Okay, that's what you're saying. All I'm saying is the proposed or the purported author of the books, I had a conversation with her. I spoke with her. We had a conversation. And this is where my thesis came up out of that. Now, what's also interesting, if you're into, synchronicities and shit like that, I just told you that I wrote this book, Wrath of the Ashes, back when I was 21 years old. So I wrote this book back in 2009. Now, the main character of this book name is Judy. So it's interesting that years later, I deal with this author named Judy, because the character in my book is an author, or more like a poet, but she's also an author too. So it's interesting that years later, I'd say, what was that? 6 years later, you know what I'm saying, I come across this author named Judy. And she supposedly wrote a book, Balls of Fire, that is now my favorite book. So pay very close attention to synchronicities. Please do. Because they mean something. You know what I'm saying? They mean a lot. They definitely mean a whole lot. So let's just begin or continue. So like I said, I have a prologue here. I really don't like real long prologues, like when you're reading books, like, nigga, get to the point and shit. You know what I'm saying? Niggas got shit to do. You can read that, like I said, when you download the document from this video. But I do want to point your attention to this saying up here. If you don't know the mother, you'll never fully understand the child. And that's a saying or a proverb that I came up with in my studies of alchemy. And like I said, we'll get to the reason why I say that. But like I said, the prologue is basically a string of posts that I wanted to put together that preceded 2020. Like, just to let you know, like, over the years, I have been posting about Judy K. King's work. You know what I'm saying? Her alleged work. You know what I'm saying? I think I got to keep saying this as I'm doing this, so that people will be, that want to agree with the whole thing that she didn't write the books. So I'll keep saying alleged. For those of you out there that's saying that, I'll say alleged, okay? I'm looking out. You know what I'm saying? I'm your bro. You know what I mean? I'm looking out for you. So this is my old website, my theoryality.org website. This was the first rendition. I had a second rendition too. And again, I'm putting this up here because I'm showing you a timeline. This is a timeline. This whole document is a timeline of me posting posts that deals with spirigenetics. So spirigenetics is spiritual genetics, basically. Or the metaphysical side of, or the occult side of genetics. So this is me learning about, the things in her, Judy K. King's alleged books, and, learning about especially scientists like Peter Garyaev, the Russian scientist that we're going to be dealing with throughout this document as well. And just, trying to put this into an application where I can use it myself. Because I was so interested in the information in this Balls of Fire book that I was like, I want to make this a business. Like, I want to go out there and apply this science. I want to be an applicator of this science. I want to do it. You know what I'm saying? So, and basically I was going to use it for healing, self realization, transformation, all that metaphysically stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, and this is the first time where I posted about biosemiotics. And biosemiotics is a study or a science that is very pivotal or crucial to Judy K. King's alleged work. This is how she, or the group of authors around her, however you want to say it, man. You know what? I'm going to just say she wrote it. If you want to disagree, that's cool. I'm not against you if you disagree. I'm going to just say this is her work. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to keep saying alleged and keep saying, you know what I'm saying, she had a group of writers. Okay, nigga. All right. Okay, we agree. But I'm going to just say it's her work from now on. So this is kind of like the first time where I was dealing with the biosemiotics. Because again, this is how, according to Judy K. King, this was the science that she was using to decipher the Medu-Neter or the hieroglyphs that we find that stems out of ancient Kemet, and that you could still see on the temple walls and the monument walls and a lot of different artifacts, and you know what I'm saying, that you see over there in ancient Kemet or over there in Kemet today. So this is the first time of me like getting on YouTube and 4 years ago and talking about this science, because it was so fascinating to me. You know what I mean? It was a very fascinating thing for me to find this shit out. You know what I'm saying? After having read the Balls of Fire book and read those essays and everything in 2015, it was like, yo, I want to talk on this shit. I want to be like a spokesperson on it, because that's how much the information impacted me as a student of it, or as someone who was researching these metaphysical and occult things myself. So, like I said, this is going all the way back to 2016, you know what I'm saying? When I first started my Ethereality Institute business. You see the Ankh and shit, you know what I'm saying? All right. And then what I also started doing back then was I wanted to create a wave lab. And it's on the shelf. I'm gonna pull it out. I'm gonna blow the dust off that motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna pull the wave lab back out. You know what I'm saying? It's just I put it on the shelf because of other things that got my attention and, you know what I'm saying, got my time and attention and whatever. So like I said, I had a GoFundMe going on at the time, the Ethereality Wave Lab Fund. And like I said, I was going to use the science that I learned from Judy K. King's books, and also learning about Peter Garriev with this whole wave genome theory and the wave genetics. And then there's other characters or figures in that shit, like Irene Caesar and Ayanna Miller and all these different, Richard Allen, like all these different white people that are, associated with this wave genetics type of thing. Sol Luckman, there's you know what I'm saying, I've been studying this shit for about 4 or 5 years now. So again, I was going to create this lab where, we deal with this wave genetics applications. You know what I'm saying? And note the time, niggas, note the time. Say 2016. So again, this is one of the many posts that, I've posted earlier about Peter Garriev, but this is the one that I chose to put up here in this timeline. Again, applications of Peter Garriev's wave genome theory and his wave genetic shit. This shit is fucking spectacular. It's awesome. You know what I'm saying? I love it. This is something that I want to do. You know what I mean? So if any you out there that also find some interest in this shit, you know what I'm saying, let's talk. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk about this shit. Let's see if we can you know what I'm saying, get together and see what we can pull off. Because I do see the benefit of it. You know what I'm saying? I see how it can really benefit a lot of people. And he has his own institute, the Institute of Quantum Genetics. And his website is on one of these slides or posts that will come up here. You'll be able to click on the link and go to his website. He also has a book that I would recommend you get. We'll get to that as well. But what I also want to point out is I came up with this acronym or backronym, New Life, which means or stands for Numero-Linguistic Frequency Entity. So again, this is my name or appellation for all you Moors out there, you know what I'm saying, I did the Moorish thing too, so Islam more, I guess. You know what I mean? So new life. This was my term for the spirit body. You know what I'm saying? Or the astral body, or the etheric body, or the sun sum. So in the cosmology, your spirit body is known as the sun sum, and your soul is known as the okra or the ka. If you study ancient Kemetic mythology and all that, you know that the ka is another name for the soul. You know what I'm saying? So I came up with a name for it. Your numero-linguistic frequency entity. You know what I'm saying? So numero meaning we're dealing with digits or words. Linguistic meaning we're dealing with language or voice or some sort of vibration. And then frequency entity, we're dealing with something that's, dealing with electromagnetic waves of certain frequencies. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I wanted to heal people. It would like get their new life corrected. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what you're doing when you're getting into alignment. Like I said, I don't know if you follow me on social media or you saw my videos on my channel so far, but I deal directly with and mainly with alignment. In Shei. Alignment is you getting in line with your destined path. The reason that your soul came down into this dimension or this, residue or this physical realm to do what it came to do. So I'm a big proponent of that. You know what I'm saying? And if you are out of alignment, you are known as Achawadifo, or what we call spirit of disorder, or, you know what I'm saying, you're malignant, you're cancerous. We have terms for those that are out of their divine order. So like I said, this is something you can read through, like I said, when you download the document. And here's another understanding if we're talking about linguistics and we're talking about symbols and biosemiotics and things dealing with symbols and letters and stuff like that. The whole thing about the stoichion. You know what I'm saying? And again, this is something I came discovered back in 2017, where I compared the keyboard. You know what I'm saying? The keyboard that you would use for your computer, your phone, your iPad, iPod, whatever, not iPod, but whatever electronic device where you have to use like a keyboard, right? And I compared it to the periodic table of elements. Now, why would I make that comparison? I made that comparison is because letters are elements. Look at any compound, look at any element when you deal with chemistry. What is used to represent the element? A letter or a letter combination. You know what I'm saying? Usually like a 2-letter combination, and then you have elements that have 3-letter combinations like this right here. So why would someone who is a chemist, when they come up with this shit, why would they use letters to represent elements? So then like I said, I learned about the whole thing about stoichion. So a stoichion is element. It refers to the basic, building blocks of matter, such as atomic and subatomic particles. A stoichion was originally a line of things, as for example, a line of soldiers, but came to refer to the ABCs or the alphabet, and then to any elementary knowledge. So again, your keyboard on your computer or your phone or your electronic device is analogous to the elements of nature. That's what I was doing the comparison. Because this is when you get to the Greek definition or the Greek roots of this word stoichion, it means element and letter. Why would you put element and letter? Why would they mean the same thing? You have a Greek term that means element and letter. So again, you get elements and letters. You see where I'm going with this? So that means the element is a letter and it's a symbol that represents some sort of deity. So when you look at the keyboard and when you're typing, the keys on your keyboard represent deities of your computer. So when you put deities in a certain combination, you get certain words, you get certain commands for the computer, and so on and so forth. You see what I'm saying? The reason this is here in this document is because your DNA works the same fucking way. This is all based on your wave linguistic DNA. That whole term wave linguistic comes from Peter Garayev's, the Russian science or the Russian geneticist, his work on wave genome theory and wave genetics. You know what I'm saying? So again, when you look at your keyboard, the next time you look at it, you're looking at the whole pantheon of deities that encode or create the entire projection that you're looking at on your computer screen or phone screen. So if we take that and we look at that, how that whole mechanism works, we can now see how our DNA works, which I often call spiri semiotic holography. That's what your DNA is. Your DNA precedes the physical DNA. We're talking about your genetics that before it becomes a physical thing within your cells, it is a light frequency or an electromagnetic frequency going on in the microscopic levels of your being. You see what I'm saying? It's written in your essence. It's written in that in your holography or in your numerolinguistic frequency entity. And then when you read Balls of Fire, it talks about how or Peter Garayev, that's mentioned in the book Balls of Fire, Judy K. King outlines how he was saying that there's an energy information field associated with all living things and all non-living things on this earth. So everything has an electromagnetic field and there's information in that field. So if you know anything about psychometry, where you can, like, there's people who are psychometric, like they can pick up an object and instantly know where was it made, all the experiences that the object was a part of, like who owned the object just by touching it. That's because that person is sensitive to the energy information field of the object. So your spirit body is that energy information field. That's where your genetics is rooted in before it becomes a physical thing. So that's something you can read when you download the document. Also here, like I said, I have a going into 2019, you know what I'm saying? This is my earliest understanding of multiverses. Because people talk about, these alternate universes, how the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe, with the Marvel comics now, and you know how they deal with multiple Earths and multiple dimensions and multiple universes. Well, I was like, well, damn. If we compare your soul, the cell in your body to a Earth, like Judy K. King does in her work, nigga, you have like trillions of cells in your body. So why wouldn't each cell be a universe or an Earth? So nigga, you are a fucking multiverse. You're a multicellular organism that's a multiverse. Each cell is an Earth. And then I remember putting out a post maybe like a few weeks ago talking about how when a protein leaves one cell and goes into another, does the protein be like, oh shit, this is an alternative universe. This is an alternate universe. But you got to understand what I mean by protein. Like, as you read this document, you'll get a better understanding, like how protein is analogous to the human or the creatures or the animals of the earth. You'll see that. But yeah, here's my earliest understanding of that. So if anybody's sitting out here having doubts or, you know what I'm saying, they're still questioning whether there's a multiverse, well, my nigga, you are one. You know what I'm saying? And then we get to occult embryogenesis. Again, going all the way back to 2019 with this understanding that I came up with. So this is me studying zygote and embryogenesis. Like, when the nut is busted and there is a egg within the woman's vaginal area within her body, and when that sperm cell hits that egg, that's conception, right? You know what I'm saying? You know that the sperm cell of the man has half of the genome of that man, and then the mother or the female has, her egg cells has half the her DNA information, right? So when those two gametes, the egg cell and the sperm cell, collide and merge together, you get the fertilized zygote, right? So this, and we'll get here talking about Keith L. Moore here, where he's saying this fertilized ovum, known as a zygote, is a large diploid cell that is the beginning or primordium of a human being. So in my study of occult microbiology, this is a very important find. This is a very important statement. Because a lot of people don't even deal with their embryogenesis, like what was going on within the life of what you were, or what was going on in your mind while you were in your mother's womb. What about that science? And I'm pointing out that the earth is not your true birthplace. It's your birth that's your true birthplace. It's you being developed in that genetic process of all this, you know what I'm saying, this zygote splitting and splitting and splitting in that process of mitosis. You know what I'm saying? Hold on one second. Let me get a swig of water, because this will dry your mouth out. You know what I'm saying? People that do lectures or they do public speaking and shit, or they speak on video, you got to keep something liquidy around you. You got to marinate the tongue, because your mouth could get dry. And you know what I'm saying? And like I said, I'm not even a person that likes to talk that much. So this is me kind of stepping out of my fucking comfort zone to even say this shit. Hold on for a second. Hold on. All right. I'm refreshed. Okay, so, and then like I said, this image right here that I have, you know, on the post here, this is an alchemical illustration or alchemical symbol. This is the rebus, as stated here up above. So this is my again, this is an earlier understanding of, you know, this whole thing of the rebus and, you know, the egg cell and the sperm cell coming together. What I started to understand that, you know, the sperm cell has that solar phallic energy, so it must represent or be representative of the sun or solar energy. And then the egg cell, again, that's a moon. That's like a microscopic moon. You know what I'm saying? A lot of you women out there will probably, you know what I'm saying, corroborate that. You'll agree to that. Because a lot of you probably have, you know, stepped into the science of synchronizing your menstrual cycle with the moon cycle. You know what I'm saying? And getting into that old deep old science, that depthical science right there. But excuse me. But what I also did right here, as you can see, is there's this concept called syzygy. And syzygy is, you know what I'm saying, in a microbiology sense, or just a biological sense, is the you know what I'm saying, that zygote when the sperm cell and the egg cell merge together as one. You know what I mean? But it also deals with being yoked together, right? Yeah, like I said, I'm pretty sure y'all niggas probably done dealt with Christianity, or you've dealt with some sort of Christians before, where they're talking about soul ties and you being equally or unequally yoked to, you know, somebody or something. Well, I compared this to the whole twin flame thing. The whole thing about, you know, your other half and your twin flames and shit. You know, soulmates kind of gets into that conversation too. But what if your twin flame is the person that represents that other half that is not expressed to you genetically, which is, if you're a male, it'll be the female, and if you're a female, it'll be the male. Because again, you have both parts within your mind, or at least within your electromagnetic spirit body. You have both. It's just that physically you express, you know, for the most part, you either express the male side or the female side. You know what I'm saying? And then you have people that come out as hermaphrodites. I guess they express both sides or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And then you have homosexual and lesbian and transgender and all that stuff that, you know what I'm saying, you can kind of see where that would factor in and everything. But again, going back to the whole twin flame thing, like, okay, let's say I'm a man, right? I'm expressing the sperm side of the zygote, the male solar side of the zygote, right? So who out there is expressing the egg side or the ovary side or the moon or feminine side of that zygote? Because that would be, that person would be my twin flame, right? Who else would it be? Because that would mean the spirit of that other person is also is with your spirit. Is also involved in your body. And I don't know if you know anything about human chimeras, where they find that, they like there's, these scientists, they found that, some people, when they took their blood sample, they had like 2 or 3 different DNA sets in them. Like, how do you get a whole fucking other genome within your body? How the fuck does that happen? You know what I'm saying? And that genome is expressing itself just like your original genome is expressing itself in you. So again, that's some more information on, or some more proof that you're not the only person in your body. You're not the only consciousness or mind in your physical frame. So like I said, you'll go online and you go to these websites where they talk about, twin flames and how do you know this person is a twin flame and da 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 da. Well, like I said, we're dealing with a biological science to figure that out. Because somebody has to be a match to whatever gender that you're not expressing within your physical body. So for example, again, I'm a man, so there has to be a female out there that is the most representative of the feminine part of me that I'm not expressing through my physical body. So like I said, you can read up on that too, and then I'll have all the definitions of, syzygy and how important it is to the whole twin flame thing, and then how it, it deals with astrology, psychology, medicine, zoology, genetics, and so on and so forth. Now, this is another understanding that I came up with towards the end of 2019. And it's this whole thing about Hyrule Cytology. Excuse me. And cytology is basically the study of cells. You know what I'm saying? Cyto being the root word for cells and shit. And Hyrule means sacred. So here literally means, hold on, let me get the marker. It literally means sacred cell knowledge, or sacred cell study or information, right? So this was the post that I put up. So you're trying to tell me that all your ancestors' DNA within you never manifests or incarnates as actual cells in your body in operation right now, at work in your temple. Because we always say, where are the ancestors? The ancestors are within us. They're in our DNA. But is that DNA expressed? Can that DNA be expressed? So let's say you're I don't know, because a lot of people in the whole conscious community will deal with this shit as far as talking about how they were descendants of Egyptian kings and Malian kings and African kings. We was gods, we was kings, we was priests, we was all that. Some of y'all was just what y'all doing now. Like y'all was, if you work at Walmart, or if you janitor, or you work at a bank or something, that's probably what you was doing back then too. You know what I'm saying? To keep it 100 with you, everybody wasn't a priest or a priestess. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wasn't that. You know what I mean? If you a sex worker now, you probably was a sex worker back in ancient Kemet too. Why would it change? You know what I'm saying? Why would it change? Especially if you ain't doing the alchemy or the transformation or the transmutation. Why the fuck would it have changed? You know what I mean? But like I said, if you're under that knowledge or that impression that you descend from these ancient kings, these ancient Kemetic people, ancient Egyptian people, then wouldn't you think that if their DNA is within you, can't they express themselves through you in some fashion or form? So I'm like, okay, at this time of me understanding this, because we get even deeper as we go along. Okay, what if you have ancestors that manifested as cells in your body? Going back to the whole human chimera thing. The whole thing where you're not the only person in your body. You're not the only mind. You're not the only sentience in your body. So what if you have ancestors that, again, they work through you by being literally cells or tissue in your body? So what if you have an ancestor that is a muscle cell, or is working within a muscle cell? They're working within your bone cells, or they're working through your nervous system, or your skin system, or your heart, your circulatory system. You see what I'm saying? They're still active. And I guess there will be ones that are inactive. But when you are dealing with your ancestors, for those of you that deal with your ancestors, especially those that practice African spirituality or some sort of African spiritual system, we deal with our ancestors. You know what I'm saying? And here is a biological science that ties into that ancestor veneration or working with them. They actually express themselves through you physically. Because you got to understand, all life is nothing but electromagnetic intelligence. You will see in a later post that I put in this document that no physical thing generates electricity. It's the other way around. The electricity generates the physical. If you're thinking that something physical generates electricity, you are of a materialistic mindset. You're dealing with the mechanical, materialistic, physical science that these, Caucasoids came up with during the Enlightenment period, where they kind of disregarded any type of spiritual science by calling it spookism or saying that it has no, real basis in science. But then, 2 centuries later, they come up with quantum mechanics and quantum physics and shit to kind of explain this phenomena that goes beyond, the physical realm and shit like that. You know what I mean? So with this Hyrule Cytology, I'm talking about how, again, if you have ancestors in your body that are electromagnetic energies, why wouldn't they have manifested physically within you in some fashion or form? They lent their DNA for you to be here now. So when you're dealing with ancestral science and dealing with your ancestors, that's a real fucking practical science of dealing with them. You know what I'm saying? It's not just hocus pocus. It's not just, spookism. No, nigga, this shit is real. You know what I'm saying? Get into the habit of understanding that the spirit realm is more real than the physical. This is but a fucking condensation. This physical shit is but a condensation or a coagulation of hyper spiritual realities. Your physical body is based on whatever's going on in your spirit body. Your physical body is an outgrowth of your sun, your spirit body. So this is how people who are in the know or know this science, this is how they can look at your fucking body and know that you have a spiritual sickness, even though you're not showing symptoms physically. Every disease, every cancer, every fucking physical malady or any syndrome, any type of fucking mental illness, if that's what you want to call it, because we deal with spiritual sickness before it becomes a mental illness. All that shit is based on what's going on in your spirit body. If you have corruptions or interferences or some sort of, short circuits within your spirit body, that shit manifests physically as diseases, and not even just in your physical body, but in the events that you experience out in the physical. So if you're still getting into car accidents and shit, or, you're getting into these freak accidents, or, you're experiencing bad luck with money, or your relationships with other people, or maybe the opposite sex is all fucked up, it's because your spirit body is fucked up. You have a spiritual sickness. In Occult cosmology, in dealing with the Occult Twee, it's called Sunsum Yade. Yade means sickness. Spiritual means, Sunsum means spiritual. You have a Sunsum Yade or two or more that needs to be healed on the spiritual level of your being. That's the only way you're going to ever heal from any disease. That's the only way you're going to overcome misfortune in your life. You know what I'm saying? Whether it be in your relationships, your finances, your career, your businesses, whatever. It doesn't matter. Because there's a lot of people out there right now. You're experiencing some bullshit thinking that you are spiritual and whatnot. And I'm telling you now, if you were in alignment, there's a lot of shit that you would never even be experiencing. If you're in alignment, there's no way that you'd be out here getting into car accidents or shit falling on top of your head, or, the police doing something. That you are out of alignment. And because you are out of your divine alignment, all this bullshit is going to happen to you. So this is how I know who's in alignment and who's not, just based on the fact of how shit happens to them or the shit that they're dealing with. I know that you're out of alignment because that shit doesn't happen to motherfuckers that are in alignment. Your ancestors would never even allow that shit to occur to you or allow that shit to happen to you. And usually the shit that does happen to you that you would call misfortune a lot of times is your ancestors trying to wake you up. I call it the alarm clock effect, where it's like, okay, you didn't wake up when the alarm went off. Okay, so let me splash water in your face. That didn't wake you up. Okay, let me put a big ass speaker next to your ear and blast some motherfucking trap music and see if that wakes you up. That didn't wake you up. Okay, let me yank your motherfucking ass out the bed by your arm. That didn't wake you up. Okay, let me set your fucking bed on fire. Maybe that'll wake your ass up. So that same concept happens spiritually. Especially if you're dealing with the ancestors that have a fucking love for you. You know what I'm saying? They have a compassion for you. They're trying to wake your ass up. Because I've always said this. If your soul is done with you, your soul leaves your body. Your soul doesn't stay with you. If you are corrupted, if you're misaligned spiritually. Motherfuckers think they will always have a soul. No, the fuck you won't. And then people will be like, well, you are the soul. Well, okay. But you're in your human ego, though. You're in your lowest human ego consciousness or ego mentality, though, or intelligence. So you're going to identify more with your human body than you would with your soul. So as you develop, then you understand that your soul is a part of your consciousness, and that's what you aspire to you know what I'm saying, gravitate towards and become. But until then, your soul will leave you. If you are consistency out of alignment, especially over lifetimes, you know what I'm saying? Then we get to this post where I'm talking about I speak the genius of my composition. Whoever designed me has to be a fucking genius. The greatest genius that ever existed. Whoever designed me. Whoever created my personality, whoever fucking designed the way that I understand things or designed like the path that I live or the path that I walk throughout this life, whoever designed all this shit was genius. And we, like I said, this is going beyond the physical. We're talking about spiritual now, metaphysical. Whoever designed this whole thing was genius. There had to be a fucking genius. Because I know my body to be the original technology of this physical realm. And I know that me as a spirit body or a spiritual being or a soul operates this physical flesh as my original technology. What I also know is that every mechanism and technology out here in the world, you know what I'm saying, on an artificial level, is based on my design. So everything here is reverse engineered from my original technology, which is my body. So when I say I speak the genius of my composition, when I'm sitting up here like teaching about this shit and putting this shit out in presentations like now and making, you know, documents about it in books or whatever, this is me speaking or writing the genius of my composition. You know what I'm saying? Get the book, the Manly P. Hall book talking about occult anatomy. You know what I'm saying? Occult anatomy of man. So even a guy like that was able to understand that all the technology you see out here, even the most advanced that you could ever get out here in the earth. You know what I'm saying? Whether it be, we talking about Wi-Fi between these phones and computers. We talking about construction machines, factory machines, cars. You know what I'm saying? Nanotechnology. This is all based on my being. Even down to the nanotechnology. The nanotechnology is nothing but artificially created proteins. That's all they are. They're nothing but artificially created proteins. That's all nanotechnology is all about. And then them using electrical signals to control these nanoparticles or nanobots to do what they do within the body. It's based on proteins. So when you're dealing with shit, even on the microcosmic or microscopic scale, and then you go all the way up to the macroscopic, again, all the way down to the microscopic level, our original technology is being copied and reverse engineered to create this fucking nanotechnology, which all this shit is an outgrowth of alchemy, which you'll see in a later post. And then we talk about this germ theory of disease. You know what I'm saying? We talking about centuries ago when, people would believe that demons, witchcraft, bad luck, curses, evil spells, and evil spirits were responsible for the diseases that people would receive, which is true. Which is absolutely 100% true. It's just that you need vectors to do this shit in. You need vectors. So if you know anything about viruses, you know that you can take a virus capsid, which is like the shell of the virus, and you can use that as a vector to transport one set of DNA from one creature and put it into another creature. This is how they genetically engineer, organisms out in there, these artificial labs out here in this Western science or whatever. This is how they do it. They just use a viral capsid, which is like a crystal. It is crystal. I ain't gonna say it's like a crystal. It is crystal. They use that crystal viral capsid, or that box, or that container, and they put DNA in it, and then they move it to another creature and put that DNA into this creature, and they genetically modify it that way. That's a way you can do it. Now they're into dealing with CRISPR-Cas, which is something they developed from studying a bacteria that had the ability to edit its own DNA. So they took that whole protein thing, and then now they're using that to kind of like edit DNA of different animals and creatures and humans. You know what I'm saying? I guess it's faster than doing it the vector way that I was just talking to you about. But when diseases back then, like, centuries ago, when they would believe that evil spirits were doing that, and demons and witchcraft, that's true. But you have to understand that the witchcraft and the demons and all of that, they were using these microscopic crystals, or these microscopic organisms, as vectors or as vehicles to do the shit that they were going to do to whoever was going to be the victim of the curse or the hex or the spell. Hold on. It's only when you get to the Enlightenment period where they was like, there's no such thing as ghosts, witchcraft or nothing like that. They wanted to believe in materialistic mechanical science. Like, to them, there's no such thing as the spirit realm. There's no such thing as anything beyond the physical, right? So they said, okay, we came up with a germ theory of disease. We went into the microscopic realm and seen that it's these microscopic creatures or microbes that are causing disease. But again, they failed to understand why people were saying this shit involves demons, witchcraft, and the wrath of God and evil spirits and all that. It's because when you deal with that type of stuff, you're dealing with electromagnetic frequency. You're dealing with electricity. You're dealing with light. You're dealing with spirit. You have to understand that spirit is also associated with microbes. Microbes have spirits. Proteins are animated by electrical charge. We'll get to that in a later post in this document. Proteins, viruses, bacteria, the cells of your body, it's all animated by spirit. No matter how small the object or the microbe is. We're talking nanometers. You know what I'm saying? This is even smaller than micrometers. Get into the nano section, the nanotechnology and all that shit. We're also going to get into a post dealing with influenza, but that's later on. But again, this is just my understanding that this is how I can give niggas the ghost cough. You know what I'm saying? Let me bring out the pointer. This is how I can give niggas the ghost cough. I can spiritually give you tuberculosis. You don't have to be near anybody who has it. I can spiritually give it to you. Now, how is that? Now, if you focused on materialistic mechanical science, you would be fucking perplexed throughout your years of your life of how can somebody that was never even near anybody who had tuberculosis contract it? Well, again, if you know the science of electricity and light and energy signatures, we know how to give motherfuckers diseases. We know how to do that. You know what I'm saying? Because we understand electricity, we understand light, we understand the intelligences that reside in the electricity and in the light. We understand that the electrical intelligences that animate the microbes in your body right motherfucking damn now. Right there in your gut biome. You know what I'm saying? How your ancestors now exist as electrical frequencies or electrical or, electromagnetic fields within your body right now. And that electromagnetic field has no mass or spatial dimensions and doesn't exist within physical time. It's beyond all of that. It's beyond the physical. So that means the same spirit that can animate a nanometer sized protein is the same spirit that can animate a multicellular organism 1,000,000 times its size. So study that if you would. Now this post is where I'm talking about, I'm dealing with a picture that comes from themostholyplace.com. This is a website that, I would definitely surf through. Make sure you go to this website, themostholyplace.com. This website is dedicated to decoding the Bible and different sacred texts to find that a lot of the shit in your Bible and sacred text is talking about your anatomy or your microbiology, because it's all dealing with alchemy. Alchemy is the mother of sciences. Microbiology, genetics, chemistry, nanotechnology, astrology, mythology, psychology, what else? Botany, all this shit comes out of the study of alchemy. Fermentation, like how you make beer, wine, and liquor and all that shit. This is all outgrowth of alchemy. It all goes back to alchemy. Your Bible is a compilation of books dealing with alchemical science. So you see in this picture right here, in the beginning, God created the gene. This is where, whoever runs this mostholyplace.com website, they were able to decipher what this shit is really talking about in the Bible. It's talking about your DNA. It's talking about your microscopic level of your being. Then God created fowl, cattle, beast of earth, and man. Talking about the fucking 4 fixed signs of the zodiac. Leo, Aquarius, Scorpio, and Taurus. Which is really talking about bases in your DNA. The adenine, cytosine, guanine, and thymine. And then when you get RNA, they take out the thymine and put in the uracil. For any of you that's familiar with RNA and DNA and all the bases of that. You know what I'm saying? And it's also over here dealing with hydrogen and phosphorus and how those are important elements when you're dealing with light and spirit and matter. And how RNA is compared to the snake or the serpent. So I'm pretty sure, I don't know if you've heard of the book or read the book, The Cosmic Serpent. And that book deals with how DNA and, it was always depicted as a serpent or a snake. You see what I'm saying? So again, get into that. Go to this website, the mostholyplace.com. And it's just a load of content where they decipher biblical scripture and shit like that. And then this is something I started posting earlier this year in 2020, this right arm post where I give people some practical applications, things that they can do to spiritualize themselves and gift themselves into divine order, or what we call in Sheshai and Akan Twi. You know what I'm saying? And you can see that I use the a chart from one of Judy K. King's articles, which is the Biosemiotics in Ancient Egyptian Texts, the key to long lost signs found in myth of religion, psychology, art, and literature by Judy K. King. And when I'm talking about the right arm, I'm talking about the part of the phage lambda DNA that deals with Hyrule and deals with spirit and energy, the spiri-semiotic holography. You know what I'm saying? Because you know this battle between Set and Hyrule is really the battle between different DNA sets or different genetic sets within the phage lambda virus. You know what I'm saying? So the right arm of your DNA is the way to true awakening. So when you understand this side of the genome, the right arm, we can do applications on that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm telling you here, start dealing with UV light. You know what I'm saying? Start recording your dreams. Motherfuckers out there, I kept making posts and shit. Nigga, write your dreams down. Get a fucking notebook. Get a voice recorder. You have a voice recorder on your phone or your smart device or whatever. If you don't like to write, start recording your dreams so you can start decoding them. The reason I was able to really develop my dream genome thesis was because I have been writing my dreams down faithfully since January of this year. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, I started doing that shit back in 2015. Then I kind of, got off the mark. I, started getting lazy. I stopped doing it. But at the turn of 2020, I was like, no, I'm about to get back into dreams now. I want to start writing my dreams down. I want to start, because my dreams, like I said, I have prophetic dreams. I'm pretty sure some of you probably also do too. My dreams be predicting shit that's going to happen a day or 2 days or 3 days later. So that was that was an incentive for me to start writing my dreams down every night. You know what I'm saying? Knowing where the North Node is in your birth chart. For those of you that want to know about divine alignment. You know what I mean? Doing what you're here to do, your destiny. What else? I think I talk about colloidal gold and all that. Yeah, I talk about colloidal gold. What else? Because like I said, a lot of people are just stuck on information. I'm interested in application. That's why I might, sooner or later I might come up with the applied sciences division out this motherfucker. To help motherfuckers that have the information apply it. You know what I'm saying? Because, niggas is satisfied with the knowledge. No, nigga, I'm an applicator. I apply what I know. You know what I'm saying? Because that's proof that I understand it, that I apply what I know. Whether we talking about deity creation or we talking about you trying to escape this realm and go into the spirit realm to escape Earth, nigga, the information we're dealing with, I'm applying it. So sign up for motherfucking membership in my applied sciences division, nigga. You know how science companies and shit, they have like an applied science division. They have research and development, and then they have the applied science section or sector and shit. That's what I'm gonna come up with. The applied science sector or division, my nigga. Get you niggas that have the information and don't use it. Help you to use the information that you know. And then we get into like I said, the actual chapter 1 of this this whole document here. So we done went over an hour. So what I'll do is I'm going to cut it short here, and then we're going to get into part 2. And like I said, I'm going to do this every day until the days to follow, until this I went through this whole document on YouTube or whatever. And like I said, you don't even have to watch any of this shit. You can just simply download the document yourself from these videos, the description section of the video, and then you can read it through yourself. You ain't got to hear my fucking lovely voice talk about any of this shit. But I will say that these videos is going to have shit in it that the document won't. You know what I'm saying? Obviously. You know what I'm saying? So, just think about that. You know what I'm saying? So again, my name is Alex Will 64. This is Occult Microbiology 101, the first video. Subscribe. A like wouldn't hurt. You can donate. Like I said, this document I'll never charge people to get this document. You know what I'm saying? It's basically a compilation of my post on Instagram with some more stuff added into it. But again, it's totally free, just like how my emotional baggage claim mini course was free. However, the Inner Work Suite, which is the extended version of that mini course, you gotta pay for that, bro, sis. You gotta put some money on that one. But like I said, this is free. But again, I'll have my links down below where if you want to donate, you want to contribute to what I'm doing. Because again, my Occult Microbiology 102 and 103 and 104 and whatever, I'm gonna keep doing it. You know what I'm saying? And then whatever other projects I have available. So again, if you want to contribute, I'm gladly and merrily and joyfully taking donations. You know what I'm saying? Every donation counts. So I'll see you in the next video. Enjoy your day. And you know what I'm saying? Stop worrying about this COVID shit, because we going to break that shit down too.